gentlemen, to another edition of Straight Shooting Sports Talk with myself, Dean Blandino, and I'm fired up. We're going to talk about these officiating problems that are going on around the league, and we've talked about it a few times on this show. Again, if you want to get at me, you can hit me up on Twitter at NotBland21. And we'll talk about your tweets on here. We'll discuss whatever it is you'd like to hear discussed on here. We'll do that too. If you don't do the Twitter thing, you can hit me up at straightshootingst@gmail.com. That is the email for this show. straightshootingst@gmail.com. Now, Cam Newton, he comes out after the presser and says that it's not fun for him anymore. So it's really taking the fun out of the game for me, honestly. Because at times I do not feel safe. And enough is enough. I plan on talking to Commissioner Cadell about this, but it's not fun. And I don't know what I have to do. Now I will say this. Cam, now, is this about the fact that you're taking these kinds of hits and on top of it, you guys are like 2-5? Because you were taking these kinds of hits last year that you didn't get the calls for, but everybody was like, dab, Cam, dab. Now all of a sudden you're not dabbing anymore, and is it not fun because you're not winning? But I will agree with you on this. See, there's obviously a double standard when it comes to officiating quarterbacks in this league. Now, I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are. We have rules in place that protect the quarterback from taking headshots, from taking shots below the knee in the pocket that could potentially ruin seasons for quarterbacks and possibly careers by blowing out knees, concussion issues, etc., etc. Now, we'll say up to a certain point that Cam has been favorably called, and those things have been called. But in the last year and in the last 2 years, there have been some obvious headshots that have not been called. Hence, in the first game of this season against the Broncos, there were shots that he took that should have been flagged, were not flagged. Then in Sunday's game, he takes a shot that's below the knee, whether it's intentional or not, and I don't believe it was intentional. But that's a shot that should not have been gone without a flag being thrown. Now, this brings me to my next point. I'm really sick and tired of Dean Blandino coming on NFL Network and giving the fans lip service. That's right. I said lip service. Because you can't possibly be honest about what you're talking about here when it comes to these types of hits on quarterbacks. Namely, who we're talking about now, Cam Newton. Now, he has the nerve to say that as a quarterback who can run, who does run, is a less protected quarterback. But yet we have rules in place to protect these quarterbacks. Now, just because he's a running quarterback does not give anyone the authority to earhole. And what I mean by earhole a quarterback is by hitting them with the helmet, head to head, whether it's hand shot, shoulder shot, head shot to the quarterback's head at any point. I don't give a crap if he's running or not. Anybody, for that matter. If it's a lateral pass to a wide receiver who is then going to turn into a passer and pass it down the field, if he is hit in any way, shape, or form in a passing posture, he should be given a flag if earholed or taking shots below the knee in that position. Anytime behind the line of scrimmage. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Aaron Rodgers is rolling out and he gets a headshot, the laundry is coming out. If Eli Manning is running and he gets a headshot, the laundry is coming out. But he's 200 and some plus pounds. I'm tired of the lip service. And then we talk about, these are plays that we're going to go over with our officials. Well, you know what? We are in week 8, and there's tons of things that we have been seeing since week 1, and I have yet to see any consistency in those calls. I'll go over to the Josh Norman deal. Now, he's going to show a play where we have 2 individuals, wide receiver and corner, that are being physical. Now, if you're going to call this early in the game, that's fine. I get it. Officials set the tone on what they're going to allow and what they're not going to allow. We understand that. But they're being physical. Then he has the nerve to say that a defender can't throw off the timing. Isn't that the defense's job? To throw off timing? So that they can make a stop? But this is the NFL, right? We want to see a lot of scoring. So just let him run his route. Don't touch him. But yet he's allowed to be physical within 5 yards. But we can't be physical. Now he's saying no blows to the face mask or head. Well, I didn't see any of that. But we don't want to talk about the face mask on Jamison Crowder inside the 1 yard line where a dude almost got decapitated with his cranium still in the helmet on that face mask. But there were several face masks called inside piles that I don't know how anybody could have seen. And those were thrown, but that they got line judges down there. And you mean to tell me you couldn't see that dude's neck and face facing backwards? He was looking at his own backside. Unbelievable. See, enough with the lip service, Mr. Blandino. Enough with the lip service. It is time for the NFL to either get paid officials full time, or if we have repeated officials that continue to miss calls that you claim that we are talking to these officials about and going over with the officials about, then it's time to start having some fines and punishment for those who keep doing the exact same thing, which is making bad calls. Because finding individuals doesn't help when a guy has lost his ACL. Finding individuals isn't what's going to help people who, when they have concussion issues down the road, because of your your officiating crews lacking the ability to make consistent calls to protect the players and to protect quarterbacks. Cut the crap, cut the lip service. Now, in other news around the NFL, there's been a lot of changes. A lot of changes. You see Percy Harvin coming out of retirement. Percy Harvin coming out of retirement. Going to help the Bills. How is he going to fare? I think that's something that's going to be very interesting to watch. I'm excited about him coming back. The dude has wheels. And he's young. He can still play. You see C.J. Spiller being picked up by the Jets. I thought he should have been picked up a long time ago. There's tons of teams that could have used him, and yet he was still sitting out there on the waiver wire, not being picked up. And finally, the Jets go out and get him. I think he's going to be a versatile back, a guy who can help them catching balls out of the backfield. He can be elusive in that screen game, and he can run the ball. I mean, he can definitely run the ball. For fantasy owners, man, this is terrible for Jamal Charles. Apparently still swelling and dealing with swelling with that knee. and they placed him on IR, so he won't be back until possibly week 17. That's gonna hurt, but for fantasy owners, but for the team, they've had some reliable guys like Wes running the football very effectively for them, and that's going to be something that is very interesting and something that is going to be fun to watch as the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not doing anything spectacular as far as winning football games, but they're consistently being consistent and methodical and just grinding games out and getting the W. Now, one that really irritates me, and it's really going to hurt, uh, is Trent Williams being suspended for the Washington Redskins. Um, Now, granted, the Washington Redskins have depth, uh, and that's important. That's something that this team hasn't had in a long time. But this suspension for 4 games is going to be tough. Now they do have a bye week coming up, but they face the Minnesota Vikings coming out of that bye week. We know that team and that defense can get after the quarterback. Um, it's going to be imperative that they run the football, but this is not good. He can't even return until December 5th, and that game will be against the Arizona Cardinals. So this is a huge, huge, huge bump in the road for the Washington Redskins, especially on that offensive line. They're developing a lot of consistency there, and to have this come down uh, is something terrible, and it's going to really put a kink in you know in their charge for trying to win the NFC East and trying to make a playoff run. Uh, we know they have one of the toughest schedules in the league, and man, that's a tough blow for a team that's trying to get those W's and trying to fight with the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think one of the toughest divisions in the NFC. Well, that's gonna be all for our show, folks. I know I told you I was fired up, and I meant it. I'm just sick of the officiating. I'm sorry. This is just old news, and with a multi-million-dollar league, it's something that needs to be fixed. Uh, Giving a lip service to the fans, to the media, and to the players. Talk is cheap, but action means a lot more because not only are people being hurt, but it also hurts teams' bottom lines, and fans lose important players that really could help their team be able to get into playoff contention. Again, thank you for listening to the show. Uh, if you want to lock it in and have every show updated, you can pick us up on iTunes. Go to iTunes, search Straight Shooting Sports Talk, and subscribe. Also, you can check out my work on sportsjourney.com. And we also have banners up for the show. Also, for if you're a Redskins fan and want to get your Redskins fix, you can have banners up for. We have banners up for that for the show. Locked On Redskins with Lake Lewis Jr. And we thank you so much again, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. We're out of here.
Yeah! Crab cake and football! That's what Maryland does!